Welcome to the Call to Action podcast with Nicole Magic, where conscious awakened leaders listen and action takers are rewarded. Join us for the insightful wisdom of today's special guest with an irresistible offer. Hello, everyone. This is Nicole Magic with the Call to Action podcast, where professional service providers and strategists share their wisdom. It is 5 questions in less than 10 minutes because we value everyone's time and energy. So let's get on with it. Leslee, it's great to have you here today. So in a few sentences, tell us who you are and what you do.
Hey, good morning, Nicole. Thank you for being here with me this morning. Who am I and what I do? My name is Leslee Montgomery, and I am a mental wellness architect, and I work in the construction industry.
Ooh, the construction industry is such a big one. There are a lot of stigmas in there and things. So tell me, question number 2, what wisdom would you like to share?
Beautiful. Wisdom, I think what I have learned in this industry and the biggest obstacle that I see that we have is asking for help. Over the years, I've been able to kind of watch the patterns unfold in front of my eyes, and to ask for help, we need to be able to trust one another. And there's a lot of times out there where we're our own little identity in our own little worlds or our own little crew. We trust here, but we don't branch out. And being able to ask for help in these types of incidents, I think, comes across as vulnerability in a place that we don't understand how empowering it is to just say, hey, would you mind giving me a hand over here? I know it was one of those life lessons that took a while for me to learn. I think maybe it's the red hair, a little bit of stubbornness in there makes me feel like I can push through anything. But the reality is every once in a while we do need some help. And when we do ask for it, we save incidents. We have more people coming back to the job site, which is one of the areas where I think our messaging is maybe a little off. I know it's about getting people home at the end of the day, but it's incredible how many people in this industry don't have a safe home to go to. And so being able to provide them a safe job to come back to has been where my heart lies. So asking for help has been amazing. And watching people when they trust you, how that grows. The amount of phone numbers I still have in my phone from job sites from 10 years ago that people will just reach out is that's when you know you've done it right. It's pretty amazing. Absolutely.
Absolutely. And you're right on with asking for help that, most people have difficulty asking for help. And especially when you put that together with construction. We've got this big image about construction workers, the big, strong guy that's out there working really hard and super strength. And, there are these things that
I've seen guys hurt themselves before they would ask for help. And then I've been in the position to be able to get them to the hospital. And it's when you have those moments behind the scenes that you meet the human behind, I don't necessarily want to say ego, but that bravado, that masculinity that says, I have to be able to perform this, right? And then all of a sudden you realize that there's just this individual who pushed past their limits. And it's really unfortunate. It's really unfortunate. I have yet to meet a wife at the hospital who's been super happy to meet me there. It's always been tentative, right? It's like your safety,
which brings us
your job
to
take
safety,
care of them.
Right? And the safety and presence.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And that is a challenge in our industry. And it's been one of those ones that I've had to wrap my head around a lot, especially having a personal connection with wellness and mindfulness. And then all of a sudden teaching an industry that doesn't understand it. So it comes across to them hokey and too feeling based. And in that case, it's probably not good for us. And then mix in a disruptor like myself that says, hey, works really well. Like it really is really well. Yeah. So
right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if we're about halfway through, so I'm going to move over to question number 3. What obstacle became your greatest opportunity?
100% would be my emotion. I can track through tons of conversations of people telling me it's not personal, it's just business. And I would sit there and I'd be so overwhelmed by a situation and I wouldn't understand how to handle it. And I'm not sure about yourself. I've met certain people when they're in a difficult situation and they'll uncomfortably laugh. For me, it was, I would cry. I would just be so overwhelmed. And many people would tell me, you know, it's too emotional for this industry. You just need thicker skin. And then I would watch a superintendent in a meeting, like throw his hard hat, you know, scream till his face is red. And I would think to myself, why is one accepted and one not? The reality is we're both going through something here and we need to figure it out. We need support through these places, like these times. We don't need to be pushed away. So persevering, it's definitely been a journey out here. Being an emotional female in a masculine dominated industry, not every day or do I come across well, but the fact of the matter is I'm still out here and I love my job. And there's a lot of guys out here now that really are starting to see the value. We're starting to see, I'm sure COVID had a lot to do with it, what mental health is and how we've neglected that for a really long time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you touched on so many points there that we could have a whole other conversation on. Oh gosh, we might have to. We might have to,
Right?
especially women in that workforce. Um,
Yeah.
Question number 4:
Yeah.
What is your favorite mindfulness practice or technique?
Personally, I finally fell in love with meditation and yoga, but those don't transcribe over very well when you're thinking about the workplace. So when I am out in the field and I am touching base with people, having moments of mindfulness with them, it's a little bit sneaky, but we start to ask different types of questions like, hey, how heavy is that tool in your hand? Hey, could I hold it? Because it'll take you away from where you're at and I can bring you into the present and you can tell me how much your crescent wrench weighs or how the handle of the shovel feels when you're digging, like what's the difference between a spade shovel and a flat end shovel, especially when you're shoveling small aggregate style pebble gravel out there. So having those conversations with them and being able to bring them around or thinking of a follow through. Sometimes when we're out there and we're working and we're developing safe work procedures, we don't think of the follow through. So as many times as I've responded to incidents where guys have been hurt because they didn't see where the grinder was going to go after they had finished and they tagged their hand. So those types of conversations are always really fun out there in the field because when you're sitting at your desk, it can be really challenging. How do you bring mindfulness into a field with a guy covered in dirt who's just like, hey, free dirt today on your face. Awesome. Women pay a lot of money for this. How does that feel, right? Get them out of their heads and right here in the moment with me. It's fantastic when you see that happen.
Yeah, what's the response there when they realize
So it
back in the
takes
present?
a bit. It takes a bit, right? Safety is always, you're kind of in that spot where management sometimes doesn't understand your value and the field just sees you as that cop there to get them in trouble. But once you can build up that trust where you can stop and have conversations, I found so many people out there. There's so many professionals out there. They spent a lot of money on themselves and they just want you to hear them. So having them explain what they're doing to you as well is absolutely fantastic. I entered construction as safety, so I don't have any tangible trade behind me. So it's always nice to get them to talk about that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. So many nuggets of information in here that we could expound on at another time. But now is for our final
Yes.
question with like about half of a minute left.
I'm
What
so
is your
excited, Kate.
irresistible call to action for our action takers today?
Awesome. I'm really excited about this because I don't see it very often in the construction industry, but on my webpage, I've put together 6 amazing things that we can start to do that at the end of the day, we'll start to see more profit coming in and it won't feel like safety is a burden.
Ah, sweet. Tell us your website really quick.
I'm at humanologypartners.com and I'm so excited for all of you to go take a look, fill out my needs assessment, take a look at that PDF. And yeah, I'm really excited.
Excellent. Thank you, Leslie. And for all of you listening, all of that is in the description. So don't forget to click the link and listen to the next episode of the Call to Action podcast, where conscious awakened leaders listen and action takers get rewarded. We'd love to hear your favorite takeaway from this episode. So leave us a comment, and thank you for listening. I'm Nicole Magic. Have a spectacular day. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody. Thanks, Nicole.
Goodbye, everyone, and thank you for listening. I hope you found today's episode insightful and invaluable to elevating your own business.